The air is cool and the rails are shiny as Saturday, February 2nd begins. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Rails. February 2nd, 2020. We're back out in our Central Florida region to catch some more trains in the cool 70-degree air. First train is 073802, a local train headed east from Winston Yard to switch customers in between Lakeland and Davenport. I believe most of those rock hoppers are destined for Davenport, while those two covered hoppers are probably destined for Auburndale. Trains like 0738 are the byproducts of these trains. Here is CSX train Q603 yarding its consist. Yarding its consist is basically separating the train into different pieces to be put into different yard tracks. Those sections are then organized in certain cars and made into trains like 0738, which take the cars brought in by long-distance mixed freights like 603 the last miles to the customers. In the third position on Q603 today was CSX 8907, one of their ST70 AHs. I'm glad to say I've caught all 10 of these engines because they're slowly leaving the state, to be used on coal trains in places that are mountainous and more rugged than flat, featureless Florida. Most of them have in fact already left the state. There are still a few roaming the Bone Valley, but only a few. Moving back to the north end of Winston Yard, we would catch CSX train 0719 departing eastward. This is a train that heads down to Eton Park on CSX's CH Spur, which is almost abandoned except for one or two customers that still reside on it. 719 is the switcher of those customers now. We then ran as fast as we could to the other end of Gay Road because Amtrak 91 was less than a mile away. We just made it. It was as soon as we got back to the other end of Gay Road again that we had to turn our cameras on again. L45302 was departing Winston Yard on his way from here to Miami. With 11,000 feet of mixed freight in tow, he had to get as much of a running start up the hill at Lakeland as he could. L453 had to slow down to about 5 or 10 miles an hour coming up the hill though, because the dispatcher could not let them get by South Lakeland until Amtrak 91 coming back out of Tampa cleared the switch and the station. Finally, L453 could crank it up a notch, or 5. Getting the 11,000 foot train up the hill to the crest here was definitely not an easy task. And if you look at the rear trucks on the AC44 back there, number 354, you can see how hard this train was to get moving. flying by us there was Amtrak number 92, the northbound Silver Star from Miami, Florida to New York City. It was that train which got out of the way of this train coming south through South Lakeland, which is where we were before. CSX unit train K20101 was diverging here at South Lakeland to track 2 to head down the hill and enter Winston Yard before eventually heading into the Bone Valley. This is a train of empty jumbo-covered hoppers returning to the Bone Valley from Birmingham, Alabama. These cars will eventually be reloaded with DAP fertilizer phosphate and then sent back north to customers up north. I love these unit phosphate trains because a lot of these covered hoppers still bear fallen flags on them. This is the last evidence of any style in CSX's corporate graphics. Railroads like the chassis system and family lines, and even these are fading, so I love to see them while I can. Personally, I don't feel like taking the time to edit another video, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap our most recent outing onto the end of this video too. Saturday, February 15th, 2020. We're jumping out of the car and setting up on a dime as CSX train Q603, nightly mixed freight from Waycross to Lakeland, is rounding the corner at Lakeland Junction from behind this autorack train, and we were just ahead of this train coming into town. 2 CSX AC-44s hauling this train of sulfur loads, phosphate empties, and mostly loaded mixed freight into Lakeland. This small block of CSX flip-top hoppers are probably returning to the Bone Valley from repairs in the Waycross car shops. I wasn't exactly sure what I was witnessing here. The train in the siding, or rather on track 1, was reportedly L2 2016, daily autorack empties from Winston back to Baldwin, Florida. But after a quick drive to 10th Street, it was obvious that this train did not have a crew and would not be going anywhere anytime soon, so we just left it be. We then made our daily drive to Plant City, where we met up with my railfan friends Dwayne, Casey, and John, and watched as CSX train 0709, the Plant City local, backed his train onto the A line so he could head back west toward Tampa, switching a few industries along the way in places like Cherry Siding, Dover, and whatever else is located along the A line that 0709 has the duty to switch in his work order. It wasn't long after 0709 passed that my grandmother returned from the Crazy Cup with some ice cream cones, and the wind that was out today was not very forgiving in letting us eat it. After we ate our ice cream, we said goodbye to the rail fans and made our way over to Tampa. This is a drone view of CSX's Ucita Intermodal Yard and Yeoman Freight Yard. And as for us sitting down at CSX's old TS crossing, we were hoping that one of the trains in here would be for us. While I had the drone in the air, I took the opportunity to look at two signals that I've been dying to get a closer look at. These two signals at Control Point TS have been standing here for God knows how long. I'm honestly surprised that CSX hasn't replaced these yet. One of them has a searchlight head on the top and a 3-lighted signal on the bottom, while the main track just has a 1-head 3-light signal. It's crazy to still see these signals here, as the signal for the entrance to the yard here is a modern 2-head signal, while these two back here are still standing from who knows what year. That modern signal was showing a restricting aspect, which was telling me that there was a train coming up the Palmetto Sub from the south, wanting to come into the yard heading northbound. That train was CSX 082315. Our favorite juice train / mixed freight local now. He would be diverging onto the, quote, siding track here to head into CSX's Yeoman Yard and drop off this mixed freight traffic and the Tropicana reefers before moving to Ucita, to which these two old YN2 painted AC 4400 locomotives would pull CSX train Q046 to Jacksonville tonight. There were two things about this train that were really cool to see. First off, the two YN2 AC 4400 locomotives leading, which YN2 is now becoming a fairly rare sight on CSX. Almost less than 10% of their roster is in that paint scheme now. And since CSX is rebuilding most of their AC 44s, this paint scheme will soon be a thing of the past. Another thing about this train was the set of tie gonds at the front. These aren't necessarily tie gonds, but they were gondolas loaded with old railroad ties. Along the Palmetto subdivision recently, I've seen stacks and stacks of old railroad ties just sitting, waiting to be discarded. Looks like they come along with these gondolas and pick them up and send them somewhere to be disposed of. Final train for us here today snuck up on us. Y10315, a local train coming out of Yeoman Yard heading south on the Palmetto subdivision to switch customers in between here and the Alafia River in Gibsonton. At that point, we began to make our way home because the train we were waiting on, 0750, would not be doing any work that I had interest in filming today. So thanks for joining us on these two recent outings in CSX's Central Florida region. We'll definitely be out here again soon, so I'll see you then, out here on the Sunshine State Rails.